We did it. We finally beat Diego Pavia, and it feels really good.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into the Locked On Bama AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. We'll talk about Mazda here in just a little bit. I want to thank you everydayers for being every day. Thank you newbies for being here today. And thanks everybody for making this your first listen every single day. You guys are 100% the best. Jimmy and I just got back from the Vandy game. You just got back from the Vandy game. We won. It wasn't the prettiest thing always. The first half had me, and I could go off, but you know what? Start with the second half because the defense really woke up and played great in the second half. Getting it really, how many interceptions did they get in the second half? I know they got the Keon Sabb one. They got one by Zay Mitzi that was called back, and was that it?
Off the top of my head, that was it. Maybe at the very end. No.
I think that was it. No, I don't think. I think we just stopped them on fourth down. Then we got the backdoor cover, which made a lot of people in the stadium happy. Let me say this: that the Vanderbilt fans that were there were pretty geeked up. I got to give them credit. They came and they were acting like they owned the place.
They were confident.
They were confident. They really were. And you know what? After the first quarter, I don't blame them. Because we had a great drive going in that first drive, and it's fourth, and I'm not sure how many, but it's one or less. And we try the old, hey, send the tight end deep and then throw it to him in coverage, intercept play, and it didn't work out. I mean, when it's one of those things where I feel like maybe with this staff we're going to outsmart ourselves every now and again. We're going to Pac-12 ourselves. And we got away with it, so it's cool. And I don't even mind trying it. I really don't. But if I'm going to try it, I want to try it against Georgia. I don't want to try it against Vandy. I think we can get it with Vandy. With Georgia, it may catch them off guard for real.
I think the score was really misleading. The scores on offense and defense were misleading. I felt like at one point that the offense, because I thought we were going to end with 23 points. And, of course, we get that strange touchdown at the end with Jam Miller. But
it's only strange if you bet on Vandy.
I thought it was strange because I felt like the offense was better than 23 points. When we were sitting there at 23 points, I thought, God, the offense was better than that today. And it's like a shame that they only scored 23 because it feels like almost a little bit like the Georgia game. Like the offense was better than that. You would think there would be more point production. Conversely, defensively, they only gave up 14 points. And I felt like, the defense wasn't that great to only give up 14. I kind of felt like it was misleading. Hey, it's a game you end up winning 30-14. I was sweating out the end until I would say there was about 4 minutes left on the clock. I mean, until 4 minutes left on the clock, I'm like, we can't give them the ball back. I didn't trust giving them the ball back, only up 6. I just didn't trust it. So they hung around. Credit to them. They're a very good football team. I have a lot of critical things to say about Diego Pavia and the way he carries himself and how that's kind of bled throughout their fan base a little bit. But I get it. They're the swagger that Diego Pavia has is responsible for the success. But there's also kind of a two-edged sword that comes with that. Oh wait, I can't hear you.
I'm muted because I'm trying to do something while you were ranting. I didn't want anybody here. Okay, first of all, you're absolutely right but I mean, as we said this week, that Vanderbilt, their leader could not end up being some blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pasty white math nerd. It had to be somebody that's a little bit off the wall, that's a little bit like not Vandy usual. And Diego Pavia is that now. Does it make him look like a jackass sometimes? You dang right it does. Did it make Johnny Manziel look like a jackass sometimes? Yep. But guess what? And I hate this as much as a lot of people watching this, but there's some young people watching this who are down with it. guess what? Somebody sent me, a friend of mine sent me like his son and all the SAEs like hovered around Johnny Manziel, and Johnny Manziel's like in the crowd doing some symbol. I don't know how to do, but whatever that symbol meant. I also don't get this whole 6'7" thing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but anyway.
I'm old. I do not.
Okay. So anyway, what I'm saying is that we can hate it. We're old people, but it's like, who was it? The Nelly. He said, you know, my grandmama hate it, but my little mama love it. That talking about his grills. That's how we are. We're the grandmamas, and we may hate it, and it's not typical.
Yeah,
and,
I don't like grills.
Him grabbing his crotch and stuff while, you know, at the student set. I mean, him practicing kneel downs. Come on, dude. I mean, you can be a little. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you the truth. I was at the north end zone, and there was a Vandy fan sort of like getting a little. He was just being sort of a jerk. Like, just Vandy scored to go up 14. So he was like, yeah, you know, he's sort of not getting in their faces, but enough to where I was like, hey, dude, just chill. It's cool. And then he was like, you know, I'm just cheering for my team. And I said, well, you're being a bleep. And I wish you'd quit doing that here in the north end zone at Bryant-Denny. And so then it all de-escalated. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm saying is I've never had an even moderately almost antagonistic interaction with a Vanderbilt fan, but I get one now because of Diego Pavia, and I feel like it sort of emboldened them to do some of this. Now, one other thing I want to say while I got it up here, Mekhi Brown, it can't be that. Is it that Mekhi Brown? Is it Mekhi Brown? If you're still watching, are you that Mekhi Brown? He says, "What are the thoughts on Kadyn Womack through the game?" Through the entire game, I'll tell you this. I sent out some tweets in the first half that was like, I want to fire Kadyn Womack into the sun. And I have been defending him. Jimmy, you know me. I think you and I both have been defending him in the sense that I've been like, hey, yeah, I know the defense has done this and done that. But, you know, they only gave up 7 to Georgia in the second half, and that was pretty dang sweet. And I feel like they're playing off each other well. The first half of this game, it seemed like we didn't know what a shuffle pass was anymore. And we're like, this is the only team we'll play that does it. So would you please guard it? Because they did it last year. They're running the same stuff. And we're bigger, stronger, faster. And it felt like we couldn't get back there. Now, in the second half, give Kadyn Womack a lot of credit. He made some kind of adjustment. I don't know what it was, but he made an adjustment because we certainly played a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, I give Womack a lot of credit. You know, I think one half of Vanderbilt's, they had quite a bit of offense, but one half of it came on 2 possessions. I mean, they had 2 possessions responsible for not that one, but pronunciation was great. Thanks for listening and supporting the show, Mekhi. I think Kadyn Womack did overall a really good job. I was a little frustrated at times in the first half, just simply because it felt like you had to work on Vandy for a year. I mean, surely that's the game that kept him up at night. And we worked on Vandy for a year. And then we come out of the gate pretty poor defensively. And they had a lot of offense early. And I was frustrated as well. But it's a 60-minute game, not a 30-minute game. And just like against Georgia, I thought they clamped down the second half and did much better. Kadyn Womack, one thing he's certainly doing differently, and I'm looking forward to watching the tape Monday and Tuesday to get a better grip on all this. We changed personnel packages. Last year, they hardly ever changed personnel packages. It was 3 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers and 5 DBs, and that's just how they played for 60 minutes. This year, they change out the personnel packages so much I can't keep up with it. And I'm not talking about just changing out personnel. I'm talking about, do we have 3 linebackers on the field? Do we have 4? Do we have 5 DBs on the field? Do we have 6? Do we have 4? They change it. Now, under Saban, I guess probably because I got used to watching it for 17 years, I could easily predict when we were going to be with 4 DBs, when we'd have 5, when we'd have 6. It's almost easy to predict. Womack's sort of all over the place with it. But I guess there's some sanity to that madness because as the game wore on, Vanderbilt had few answers for the Alabama defense. So I give him a lot of credit today. Again, I'm uncomfortable playing so many players. I mean, when it's critical points in the game and you've got a lot of backups in, it bothers me. But, hey, that may be more on me than on them.
Jones says only 20 yards or something like that, giving up rushing after the first quarter. And that, again, kudos. I'm I'm like, hey, I'm happy we played so much better. There's no doubt about it. But if you didn't watch that first quarter and think, oh my God, how are we not ready for this? I mean,
again, last year's Vanderbilt game's happening again because we don't have any answers for this scheme and what they're running. And it seemed that Vandy probably early plays were scripted, so they rep those to death. And kudos to them. Again, Vanderbilt's good. This is good. This Vanderbilt has nothing to do with the Vanderbilt of old. They're good. That's a good SEC football team. Even when Alabama was losing in this game or the game was contested to the point you didn't know who would win, I never at once felt Alabama wasn't busting their butts to win the game. I felt the team had a lot of energy. They were trying hard. They wanted to win. I think a lot of it is just that Vanderbilt's pretty good.
Yeah, a couple of things. And J.R. Till brings up a great point. We won. Texas and Penn State can't say that. Totally true. And look, we got to talk about Texas and Penn State at some point. But still focusing on Bama now, I think that's what bothered me was that I'm with you. This wasn't just us messing around. This Vandy is really good. Now, I say it bothered me. I guess it bothered me in the sense that, holy cow, are we ever going to get to play somebody that's not good for a bit? Because, we got Missouri next, they're undefeated. Got Tennessee after that. Got a South Carolina team that'll probably be starving for a win. LSU, Oklahoma. It's a murderer's road. And Vandy is really good. It's not going to shock me at all if Vandy beats Texas. Vandy beats Auburn. In fact, I bet Vandy might be favored against Auburn at this point. Vandy beats Tennessee.
Since 2018. But they might be favored to beat Auburn. And I do think Vanderbilt's going to win, I'll say 2 or 3 SEC games going forward. They've already beaten South Carolina. Very good team. They're much better than just Pavia, although he's clearly the instigator of it all. And he's really good. And he backs up a lot of his swag, if that's what you want to call it. But, hey, this is about Alabama. Good win over a legitimate top 20 team. The offense had great moments, lacked a little consistency. Again, they weren't finishing impressive drives or impressive plays with touchdowns. So the offense wasn't perfect, but it was good. Ty Simpson was great.
Wait a minute. Let's leave him on the cliffhanger because I want to tell him about Mazda real quick.
Of course.
Told you I'm going to tell you about Mazda. I don't lie. So Mazda, this episode is brought to you by Mazda, moving you forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward is, you know what? I think I'll go with Tim Keenan's fumble recovery against Diego Pavia. That really, man, if they had punched it in on that drive, that really would have hurt us. But when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, because you want to move, and then you want to be moved. Also want to talk to you about DoorDash. I'm probably going to get some DoorDash tonight, I'll be honest with you. I'm hungry. But DoorDash is awesome.
DoorDash, will they bring you beer?
I think they might.
Okay.
You want me to order you some while I'm doing it?
Well, if I'm ever going to find out, tonight's the night.
The weekend is here, and it's time to talk about and crown who is the MVP for this game, who delivered, powered by DoorDash. How about Jam freaking Miller? How about Jam Miller? You and I like Jam a lot. We've also said, hey, he's not one of the best backs we've had in the last 15 years. But I don't know that he doesn't bring as much soul to the team as some of these other backs. Like Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry's a freakazoid. TJ Yeldon, Najee Harris, all those guys did their own thing. Jam Miller feels like he's the heartbeat of this squad, and it really has changed the focus of the team. But and just like Jam Miller changes the focus of things and delivers, so does DoorDash. DoorDash delivers your Saturdays, and with DoorDash Streaks, you can save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to 250 smacks, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November the 18th. And now we're going to get back into some more Vandy talk. Okay. So first of all, quick shout out to some folks that, I mean, I really do enjoy it when people come up and say they like the podcast stuff. How about Mario from Tampa? It's me, Mario from Tampa. I like it. That was good, right?
Is that how he said it?
That would have been hilarious, but no. My son used to love Mario Kart, and he just walk around going, his name is Walker, but he'd go around going, it's me, Mario. And I was like, you're going to get stuck doing that. You know, people used to tell you about you roll your eyes back and they'll get stuck that way. Brenda also said something. Emma and Catherine, let me tell you, Emma, pretty as a speckled puppy, like an 8-year-old little girl that just said, she just came up to me and was like, yeah, I listened, and my mom and dad listened to it. And I was like, you're the sweetest. I got a picture with her. Couldn't have been any sweeter. And then Bryant. I think Bryant may be actually her father. I can't. It's hard to keep up with all that stuff, and it's hard to keep up with my own kids. But so
shout out to I talked to Caleb, who's a fan of the show, on my way into the condo. Was nice, and a lady, I didn't get her name, although I literally watched the last minute of the game with her in the tunnel, and she thought, is Alabama going to kick a field goal here and cover? And I'm like, I think they're going to take a knee. But then Vandy started using those timeouts. Then Alabama had to convert on 4th down to keep the ball and end the game, and ended up scoring. So, like, boy, you were right and I was wrong. But anyway, yeah, it's cool when we meet the people that support the show, because without you guys, there literally is no show for real.
For real, though. I mean, you ain't kidding. Jam picked up some blitzes today. Jam just ran the ball so hard, 136 yards. And I swear to God, Jimmy, when I didn't know the stats, because I was watching this game like, we're going to lose to these nerds again. Nerds! You know, I was so mad.
Nerds. He may be the best blitz pickup back I've ever seen at Alabama. I'm serious.
Oh, that's very fair.
He knows who to block, and then he knows how to block them. And let me tell you, the NFL is going to notice that. Now, I thought he was great. I thought he was great to the point a friend of ours asked a question that made me think out loud. Our friend said, does Alabama beat Florida State if Jam plays? And think about it.
But that's so close to if Colt hadn't gotten hurt that I don't know.
Well, what I'm not thinking about how the game would have played differently. What I mean is, what a compliment to Jam Miller.
Yeah.
That we have to that gives you pause. And it's not that Jam would have fixed the run game that day. It's just that Jam brings a physical mentality to the offense that's missing when he's not there.
We'd beat the Florida State that's playing tonight.
I think Jam is one of the players on offense that lifts the performance of everyone else, which is a hard thing to do. He's just a real physical player, and no doubt played his best game of the year tonight, and then we'll see going forward. But yeah, shout out to Jam for sure.
I don't think I can say this word without getting in trouble. I have no idea what he says. Absolutely, and then he uses the word that I think if I say it, I'll get in trouble. Yeah. But he said by this win, Jimmy Stat. Tell me if there's a story there.
I said something earlier this week that sort of sounded like that word he was referring to, although I didn't say that word or mean that word. But I said a word during the show this week that sort of sounded like that. So shout out to Jacob there, who obviously watches every day.
Oh, my God. That is so funny. I wish I could say it. I don't think I can without getting it. In the old days, we would have said it like over and over. That'd be your new name. But that'd be your nickname. So here's a thought. It's 14-7. Vandy scores on us again, and I swear, Jimmy, I'm like, that's about the time the Vandy dude started going crazy too, and I was like, okay, now he's ticking me up. And then there's one of those times I had to remind myself, okay, you got some people in here that know who you are, trying to stay calm, and but then we score very quickly doing the 2-minute offense, and I know I can't be the only person who thought this. Why don't we just do that a lot more?
Honestly, I think Alabama won the game on that drive. And by that, I mean, at that point in the game, when Vandy went up 14-7, there's a minute 28 left in the half. Alabama had only stopped Vanderbilt. Hadn't really stopped them at all in the first half. They scored on 2 of their 4 possessions, had only forced 1 punt in the first half. I think Alabama scoring at the end of the half gave the team a lift. Kalen DeBoer went nuts on the sidelines. He was so excited about that. It was a brilliant drive by Ty. I really think that drive was as responsible for Alabama winning the game as anything else that happened. Obviously, the defense with multiple stops in the second half, but that drive was huge.
AJ Evans says, I don't recall Ryan Williams dropping one. He did, though. He did. He dropped that one late in the game. I think it was right before our last field goal. And I don't know if it would have been a first down. It probably wouldn't have been. It wasn't a great pass, but he did drop it. And
Zay had a drop. I remember at one point. Zay Horton had a drop.
Oh, Zay had at least one. He dropped the first pass of the game, I think.
23. Ty was 23 of 31, but so only 8 incompletions, but 2 or 3 were drops.
And one was a pick, of course. Let me say this about Vandy.
Great.
This is one thing that I noticed about them. They make you start thinking about the clock in the first quarter. You start thinking like, I don't know how many more possessions we're going to get. That's what they really do play. Corey Burton, who is locked on Commodores, go give him a follow. Super dude. And I'm like, look, I know we're going to talk more about how Vandy was pretty disrespectful, at least some of and Diego Pavia above and beyond, whatever. But aside from that, you got to give Clark Lee a lot of credit, man. I'm telling you, Jimmy, in the second, I know I wasn't the only one thinking this. When Vandy scored, make it 14-7, I'm like, if we don't score, we're in a lot of trouble because Vandy could go down, score. They get the ball first in the second half. Then they're up 2 scores, and then we're playing catch up, and we've only forced them to punt once all day. I was worried to death.
I was worried a lot, and they play. What do we call it under Dean Smith? What did Dean Smith call as the 4 corners offense? When Dean Smith would just burn clock, the basketball legend at North Carolina. That's what Vandy's football offense is like. 4 corners. They keep the ball away from you. They burn a ton of clock. They let the play clock go all the way down. They want to shorten games against teams that out-athlete them. They want to shorten the game. Because if you think about it, if you're the underdog and there's only 20 plays in the game, you got a much better chance to win than if there's 100 plays. Because if there's 100 plays, eventually the talent on the field is going to win out. So Vandy wants to shorten games against a team like Alabama. They do a fantastic job with it. And the games just sort of fly by. I was at 14-7. I was worried. I was literally worried about the outcome. I remember Connor Talty kicked a field goal to put up Alabama by 2 scores with 4 minutes left. Until the moment that ball sailed through the uprights, I was very worried about the ultimate outcome. And I told my wife in the stands when Connor Talty made that field goal to go up by 2 scores, had he missed it, I was going to tell her that Alabama was going to lose the game.
I was 100% on board, and let's not forget he had already missed one earlier in the game, and so I was worried to death about it. Now,
there's my guy Caleb that I met tonight. That's him.
Okay, well, he said, "How is that not targeting on Ryan Williams?" I don't know.
I have no idea.
If you want me to go on a rant again, I've told people I hate instant replay, although it did help us a couple of times this time. But I'll say this. I think if instant replay weren't a thing, I think the refs may have called a couple of those plays differently. Like, I think they would have said, hey, Ty was down. Ty was so obviously down but they are taught to let it play out. So anyway, the targeting thing, I don't know what else you can do to say that's targeting. And then the SEC office now owes James Smith an apology because he had to sit out a first half for something that was sort of innocuous. And yet Georgia is jumping on the pile. This guy today, I don't know who exactly it was, nailed Ryan right in the head. I don't know what.
Leading with his helmet. Led with the crown of the helmet to where even if he had hit Ryan in the knee, it should have been targeting. But he hit Ryan in the head. It's just – I don't understand it. I was not a fan of the officiating at all tonight. I thought I'm going to have to watch it again. I thought on Vanderbilt's long touchdown run from Seti early in the game, I thought there was a hold right at the point of attack that wasn't called. Later on, Cam Dewberry was called for holding when it wasn't holding at all. And the officiating calls that were overturned by replay were horrific calls on the field. I'm like, how did they get those calls wrong? I'm 50 rows up. I see it completely clearly. How did they get that wrong in the first place?
to be fair, a few of our listeners, and we appreciate it, if we're wrong, we're wrong. Again, we were both at the game. All I could see was the video replay, the giant screen right behind me. And it looked like targeting to me. Now, I haven't studied it over and over again, and they didn't show it 500 times.
When you're at the game, you can't see it as well.
So it felt like targeting, and I wasn't going to bring it up because honestly, I'd kind of forgotten about it until the other guy brought it up on here, and I was thinking, yeah, that's kind of right. I can't give Vandy enough credit for making us aware of the clock so early. Now, to our credit, Bama's credit, I don't know how long that drive in the second half that led to a field goal was. That it started like right. I guess it was right after the pick, maybe right after Ken Sapp's pick, and it felt like we controlled the ball until there was about 3.5 minutes left. And it was probably we started with God knows how long, and we just paraded down the field very slowly, and that's what we needed to do, and it gassed them.
Felt like, first of all, there was a on that drive, Alabama ran the ball a ton and had a lot of success. Alabama played better offensively than the scoreboard shows. I mean, I was really pleased with the offense. It felt like a 40-point production game. It felt that way because Ty was 23-31. You had success running the ball. You weren't turning it over a lot. Felt like a really good day for the offense. Just didn't really show up on the scoreboard, so credit to Vanderbilt. And again, conversely, you hold them to 14. You shut them out in the second half. Yet I was never 100% comfortable defensively. Always felt like, boy, if Vandy gets the ball, they're going to score. It's kind of how it felt. So very misleading game to me on the scoreboard. But overall, a good win because I'm personally convinced Alabama beat one of the 25 best football teams in the country. And
I think they beat one of the top 15 best teams in the country. Now, again, and the reason I say that, if Vandy and Penn State played today, you ain't got to tell me twice who to bet on. I don't care what
the morning who's a better team, UCLA or Vanderbilt. Yeah. I've been screaming Vanderbilt from the top of Mount Sinai.
Yeah, we're about to get a healthy dose of, boy, the Big Ten's so tough, even UCLA can beat people. Tell everybody about Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with brand new Peloton cross-training tread powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is Training Reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton cross-training tread today only at onepeloton.com. Jimmy Stein guarantee.
So Jimmy Stein and Peloton in the same sentence.
Peloton's like, ease up on the Jimmy Stein guarantee on that one.
Like, boy, we need him to be the before pick.
So, going back to Pavia for a second, I mean, he talked trash all week. Then somebody else for Vanderbilt talked trash, and frankly, after the first quarter, I was like, I don't see why anybody doesn't start talking trash about us, because when you talk trash, they're pretty successful. Now, give the defense credit in the second half. But what is Pavia's deal? I mean, do you think that he has to be that raw with all this stuff? Because he was like, he's making gestures and he's doing stuff. And Vandy also, late in the game, they got that late hit out of bounds. There was also kind of a scrappy little scrap somewhere in the middle of one of our drives. By the way, before I forget it, I've been wanting to say this. One thing that the offense did a lot of great things today. One thing we didn't do well is finish drives. We got to the 10 a couple of times, and the first play was a play action that we got sacked. You can't do that.
Yeah, like I said, it's a better day offensively than the scoreboard shows, but there was a reason that Alabama wasn't. There's a reason Alabama didn't score 45. I think they played largely like an offense that should have scored 45, but they didn't. Credit Vanderbilt, and Alabama's got to look at some play calls and some bad execution on a handful of plays. Why Pavia is like he is, I'm guessing it just extends back to this. This is a less than 6 foot quarterback whose best offer out of high school. He had none. He went to junior college, and then after junior college, he went to New Mexico State. He still plays like that kid back then that no one believed in, and apparently that chip on the shoulder elevates him and is a source of motivation for him. It's not an excuse because I think he goes too far with it. He certainly did with his gestures to the student section before the game and other things he does. Also think, hey, when your idol is Johnny Manziel, that sends red flags off to me. I know Manziel was a fantastic player, but even Johnny himself will tell you, hey, I didn't do it right. If I could do it all over again, I would do it differently. And yet Diego, that's his guy. I would suggest maybe Jalen Hurts as someone to emulate. Bryce Young, even Drew Brees. Doesn't have to be an Alabama guy. A lot of great dudes. Josh Allen, one of the best people alive. I think having Johnny Manziel as an idol that you emulate is sort of that. There's your red flag.
It's sort of like saying, what if Charles Manson were a great chess player? And you're like, I just really, I want to pattern my game after him. I'm like, not the whole game. Not the whole game. But the other thing that's funny, I give Pavia this. He talks a lot of smack, and I don't like it, and you don't like it. But man, there were so many times we should have had a lot more. I just looked it up. We had 1 sack, and it felt like we should have had more sacks than the Humane Society veterinarian. That just came to me a little bit. That sounds awful. You get it right, the neuter and the spay. It's funny. It's kind of funny.
Wow.
I can't believe I thought I couldn't say the other thing, and I said that. Anyway, so we only had 1 sack. I wrote it down. I was like, God, I can't believe.
Well, it's a tough guy to sack. Not only is he athletic,
but I know I'm giving him credit.
They don't run an offense that lends itself to a lot of sacks because it's not like he normally takes a snap, goes back in the pocket. Once we got up 2 scores with 4 minutes left, first comment, it came to mind for me is we now got Vandy completely out of their comfort zone. This is what they hate to do on offense. This is what they're not built to do. And they're very likely to not move the ball or turn it over. And surely when they were in their version of a 2-minute offense, it was pretty disastrous for them.
Yeah, and that's, Jimmy, this thing was going all according to plan, by the way, at first. We lose the toss, and they want to defer, which is what most teams do. We get the ball. We're driving down. We're about to score it. And you and I talked about what you want to do is get ahead of Vandy. You have to play ahead of them. And right. What happens? We turn it over, and they immediately score a touchdown. They're ahead of us. And all of a sudden, you could feel it in the crowd. You were there. Like everybody's like, what's going on? It was weird. So, all right. I know Jimmy's got. Where are you? You're at the condo? You're at the Tuscaloosa?
Yeah,
All right. Well, we're going to be back tomorrow morning, and we'll talk a lot more about this when we have some time to stew over it. We do want to talk. I can't wait to talk about Penn State UCLA. Holy cow! What a disaster for James Franklin.
I've been more shocked by an outcome than that. And by the way, James Franklin, for most of his career, has been very good at beating teams he's supposed to beat. He's had a problem with beating teams that are in the top 10.
Yeah.
UCLA is not even in the top 10 of their own state.
It's the first time an 0-4 team or a team at least 0-4 has beaten a top 10 squad since like 1983 or 5 or something like that.
Unbelievable. I never would have dreamt that Penn State would lose that game, but they're in trouble.
Also, I know you're shocked. Arch Manning just threw another interception. By the way, everybody, internet legend Jimmy Stein's Heisman winner.
I feel like the what was the Simpsons lineup? More wrong than Mayor Wrongington of Wrongville. How's that?
Holy cow, he looks like a deer in the headlight. Did they replace him at the end of that game?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
I was trying to watch it on my phone
during our game, and I'm kind of tied into Alabama, but I don't know. I again couldn't be more stunned. But this is why college football is so much fun, isn't it? College football is fun because Penn State loses to UCLA, because Arch Manning's not good. This is why college football is great.
one final thing, Brett Fulmer brings up a great point. Caleb Holt has canceled his Auburn visit. That's great news for people who love Alabama basketball. Caleb Holt is that dude. And also Alabama got a commitment today, and we'll talk about it all tomorrow. But just like everybody else, we got to go chill. We appreciate everybody tuning in live. You guys are the absolute best. I mean that. And please be back with us tomorrow. We might even do it live tomorrow morning. Who knows? We're crazy like that. So until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.